Hi Roses, I'm Dot McElhone and Ashley asked me to do a little video for you about summer sales. The first part is I don't know what I'm doing any better than anyone else does. This isn't my field, it's not my background. I'm a teacher educator and this business was kind of a sabbatical lark that I went on instead of resting or enjoying free time basically. So I launched right at the new year and did fine. January, February, March was amazing. April was also pretty darn amazing. And my first little tip is just to know that you're not alone because sales have been way down for me as well. I'm about half this month of what I was in March, and in May I was about half of what I was in March as well. So that's legit, at least from my corner of the world. And I don't know, it's helped me to talk to Ashley and talk to other people and just be encouraged that it's not me. And I think that echoes what Ashley was saying. So the second thing I would say, I have no idea, honestly, like what is causing me to be getting some sales when it's really hard. But I can tell you that I genuinely really do love my customers and I think they feel it, and I think that's helpful. And kind of tied to that, a third sort of tip is to cultivate the kind of community that you want to be in, whether that's a community that's about fundraising for social justice causes, or about silliness and humor, or about kindness and love, or whatever it is that's your thing. Cultivating that community, at least for me, seems to be getting me somewhere. And it's helping me develop relationships with people who keep coming back. And so I don't really have like a lot of unicorn hunters in my group. There's not a lot of like conflict over who gets the Chihuahua leggings or whatever. I haven't had Chihuahua leggings, but you get the idea. So I'm really intentional about that, and I'm very transparent about it with them. And I also kind of like put the intention out there, like, look at our community, look what we're doing together. I also do fundraising continually. So for example, in February, I believe, I did a month-long donation to the NAACP. In March, I was able to donate almost $1,000 to the Southern Poverty Law Center, and that kind of thing seemed to get people excited. You know, it helps them feel like I'm not being selfish buying all these clothes, I'm doing something good for other people. So I think that was helpful. One thing that I've had a few people ask me about is booking. I'm certainly not doing like out-of-home pop-ups every day or anything like that. You know, I have a full-time job as a professor and that just isn't a thing. And I also personally haven't figured out how to make an out-of-home pop-up efficient. To take my 1,300 piece inventory somewhere and load in, load out, it's taking me like many hours. So that's something I need tips about. But I have had a lot of luck booking shopping appointments here at my house, some pop-ups here. I booked a friend who's a like guru of essential oils to come and teach a class here, and then I'll have a captive audience in the basement and they can, which sounds terrible, but then they can, you know, see the clothes and shop. Another thing, a tip that I took from someone else, and I can't remember who it was when you do the 72-hour game plan, flip it on its head. So when you brainstorm your list of all your contacts, you start at the bottom, like the last person you thought of. I haven't had really hardly any of my closest friends host a pop-up. I've leapfrogged beyond them to like their siblings and cousins and you know, people I know as acquaintances, people I like, but that aren't someone I see every day. And that's helped me kind of leapfrog beyond my little kind of insular group. And then I take that a step further. So when I have a pop-up, like say an online pop-up, and there's someone who's engaged and is shopping, I ask them. And I ask them directly. I find that posting about it hardly ever gets me a hostess. It's almost always a direct ask. And I do it with like really a lot of energy, like, hey, this is gonna be awesome. I've been working on being less like apologetic about taking their time, because it's really not that much time. And I also find that I am, that it's helpful to let them know, like, it's not a big pressure situation. Like, some people feel like, oh, I shouldn't do it because I don't have 100 friends. And it's like, no, if you introduce me to one person who enjoys the clothes, that's a win for me. So kind of taking the pressure off. And I often find that the person who's so worried that they're not gonna have enough people is the person who has the most sales. So go figure. So lately what I've been doing, because my June has been a little dry, is looking back through my report and Bless at all my orders, and looking at the people who've made large orders, or maybe a lot of orders, and people who I haven't asked, people I don't even know who they are, and I've been messaging them and emailing them directly. And I used MailChimp as part of that to kind of give information in like a visual, I don't know, engaging kind of way. I don't know what's working. And the other little piece that I would suggest that I think is working for me, but of course, you know, it's not a controlled study, so I have no idea what's working. Maybe it's just luck. And I honestly wish it were working better, but a combination of consistency and novelty. So like Ashley, I have a weekly sale that's the same time every week. Every Monday at 4, my people know that the shop is going to be open. Every Monday at like 3:45, they know that I'm going to go on live and be like bouncing around and yelling about how great Monday is, and like, you know, just doing the usual, like, let's get psyched to shop shenanigans, showing some items, checking in with them, actually like remembering who was sick and who was having a hard time last week and who had something exciting happen, and like talking to them about that stuff. So that's a consistent thing every Monday. And then every Thursday I've been trying to do a live sale. I've tried doing the live on the public page and no one can see it. I generally get one person watching, and it's usually my husband. So whatever that magic is, I haven't figured it out. I've linked my public page and my group page, but still my lives, I'm getting maybe 10 or 15 people watching, but people buy because we're connecting. And I'm finding live by size is helpful because the person doesn't have to watch through a bunch of stuff that's not their size. So that's the consistency piece. And then the novelty piece is like throwing something fun in each week, which I'm sure we're all already doing, but throwing some kind of game in. Like one time I did a unicorn hunt in the shop with me. Sometimes I'll do outfits. Once a month I'll do a battle of the hostesses, just to like ham it up a little bit. So, and I don't know, a lot of it with me is just like getting on the live a lot and doing a lot of like singing and yelling and dancing around in the basement. And it's really, yeah. So I don't know, that might not be your bag, but for some reason it works over here. So I don't know if that's helpful. I don't know what I'm doing that's actually working, but those are the things that I'm kind of keeping in mind. Hang in there, and yeah, treat yourself right. It's gonna work out. I think it's gonna work out. Okay.